nailed it. I nailed it again. Anyway, hello, and welcome to Dave Hill's podcasting incident with me, Dave Hill, the pride of Cleveland and beyond. I just got a very nice reply to my misconnections ad I placed on the Denver Craigslist page, for example. Anyway, we're back with yet another new episode of Dave Hill's podcasting incident after my nearly 5-year hiatus. I don't know how people got through it. Anyway, let's get, as I learned from the late great, I'm just setting my hot axe down, as I learned from the late great Joe Franklin, I want to get the plugs out of the way first before I get into the meat and gravy of this incredible podcast. Thank you for listening, by the way, and thank you to everyone who's been rating and reviewing on iTunes, which I beg you to do, because I'm told it helps us in our plot for world domination. But what did I want to tell you? Oh, if you want hot rock jams, my hot rock band Valley Lodge, November 30th at Hanks in Brooklyn with Ribeye Brothers, Falling Stars, and Windbreaker. Thanks to everyone who came out to the Ohio shows last week. Some people drove, like Caitlin Sinclair drove 12 hours to both shows. I mean, she drove 12 hours, and then the next show was only 2.5 hours away. But you see my point. People came from far away. Some people just walked down the block, but I'm super grateful for that too. Anyway, I'm doing stand-up in Cleveland, December 29th at the Grog Shop with Mary Santora. You got to come out to that. It's going to be a scorcher. And once again, I want to thank everyone who's been supporting my partner in crime, Chris Gersbeck, and I in relaunching Dave Hill's podcasting incident. Thanks to everyone who's been supporting us on Patreon. If you, too, would like to support and keep gas in the tank and help us buy new microphones and luxury moisturizers, go to patreon.com/Dave Hill, patreon.com/Dave Hill, or just search Dave Hill, patreon.com, and you can get all sorts of incredible things, t-shirts, patches, erotic short stories. One tier, even I'll fly to your house and sing to you. What more do you want? Anyway, I have so many people to thank. I want to thank Dan Wally Sempek, for example, Carrie Curran, Valerio Fabretti. Thank you guys for pledging. And I want to thank Peter Arvidsson, who qualifies for a Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit gang membership. That's my street gang. For just a mere $5, you can be a member of the street gang. The Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit. Peter qualifies for that. So his gang name is Peter, the unapologetic last slice pizza taker. I also want to thank Nikki and Rona Aquilina, who also qualify for gang membership. Their Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit name is Wonder Twins of Doom, and also loitering, even though there's a sign right there saying not to do that. I want to thank Jen Braun. Jen, your Dangerous Snake's name is the Pennsylvania Double Parker, especially during rush hour. Jen also qualifies for an erotic short story starring her. That's right, here goes. Sexy music, please, Chris, put it here. Jen walked into the men's warehouse. She took a wrong turn and wound up accidentally walking into the dressing room and saw like 9 butts. It was nuts. All right. I want to thank Scott E. Johnson. Scott qualifies for Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit membership. His name is the Long Island Salt Shaker, Top Unscrewer, and Frequent Finger Giver. I want to thank Matt Edwards. Matt, your street gang name is Black Belt Matt, who knows nothing about karate, but just so happens to have a really cool belt that's black, so deal with it. I want to thank Courtney Noor. Her gang name is the Nor'easter, who will blow on the back of your neck while waiting in line at Pret a Manger just to annoy you, and when you turn around, she'll just look at the ground and start whistling. Oh man, that's a long one. I want to thank V. Frankie Craighead, your dangerous snakes who hate bullshit name is the Youngstown Destroyer of Feelings, and also that ass. I hope you don't mind I added that. Your erotic short story, V. Frankie, is: have you noticed any suspicious packages? The bomb squad detective asked V. Frankie outside the Cinnabon. Just one, she said, staring at his crotch. He couldn't believe it. I want to thank Al Kurzbeck. Al, your street gang name is Al, the unapologetic man-spreader, unless someone else is on the train, in which case he'll totally stop doing that immediately. I want to thank Danny Squeak. Danny, your gang name is the last face you'll see before a non-invasive procedure involving local anesthesia and free candy. I want to thank Nathan Welp. Nathan, your dangerous snake's name is the Oregon Toilet Seat Lever Upper. I want to thank Andrea Kremer. Your dangerous snake's name is Andrea the Assassin and Frequent Line Cutter. I want to thank Valerie Lopez. Valerie, your gang name is the Austin Booby Trap, who will intentionally leave a slightly larger tip than you when you split the check just to be annoying. I want to thank Caitlin Sinclair. Caitlin, who drove, by the way, 12 hours for the Valley Lodge shows last week. Caitlin, your gang name is she who will drive just under the speed limit in the passing lane for a seriously long time just to drive you slowly insane on your drive to Columbus. I want to thank Margaret Barrows. Margaret, your dangerous snakes who hate bullshit name is the Utah set of human nunchucks who will smash your windshield for no good reason and then act like it didn't happen because she knows insurance will cover it and that it's just sort of annoying more than anything else. Margaret also qualifies for an erotic short story. Here goes. Cue the sexy music, please. Do you come here often? The bartender at the Cheesecake Factory asked Margaret Barrows. That depends, she said. What time do you get off work? That one was sort of a play on words. I hope you got it. It's kind of dirty. I want to thank Deborah Boland. Deborah, your street gang name is Deborah, the doorbell ditcher of doom. Chris, if you could add some echo to where I say doom, that would be pretty cool. I want to thank Kim Luke. Kim, your dangerous snakes who hate bullshit name is West Coast Kim, who will not hesitate to call you on your bullshit in the form of a stern talking to over lunch that you are paying for. All right, those are all the thank yous. Those are all the dangerous snakes who hate bullshit new members I had to initiate this week, and I hope you enjoyed the erotic short stories as well. If you would like any of that, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Hill, or just search Dave Hill at Patreon, patreon.com. All right, let's get into it. On this incredible episode of Dave Hill's Podcasting Incident, I welcome comedian Erik Bergstrom. Erik has a brand new album out today. Get it. It's called Serious Goose. It's hilarious. Brand new album of stand-up. Erik has had a wild past couple years, including but not limited to a cancer diagnosis, unexpected death in the family, which he'll tell you all about. And from that, though, he still managed to keep going. He did a Comedy Central special. He appeared on Colbert, and he has a new album. So it's kind of an amazing story of perseverance, and he's a hilarious, beautiful man. And so this episode is especially full of darkness and light overpowering that darkness more than anything else. So here, without further ado, is my lovely conversation with Erik Bergstrom. Erik, thank you for coming over to my lovely apartment.
It's great here. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You were just asking me before Chris here hit record, and I feel like I need to answer your question. Guess.
Yeah.
And for the listener, bringing up to speed, what happened was I took my corduroys in I forget what. Oh, the pocket was all ripped. The pocket had ripped out.
I have pants like that.
Yeah, it's frustrating, right? Because you're like, you're used to having pockets in your pants, and then you put your wallet in your pants, and it drops to your ankle. Or whatever. So
it's the greatest.
I was like, enough already. So I took them in to get the pocket sewn, and then I realized a couple of buttons were missing from the fly. So I was like, oh, fix those, and they said, as long as you got them, just wash them too.
Yeah.
And because I did tweet about this, and someone immediately was like, you take your corduroys to the cleaners? That's luxury living. But I just, I had them wash them just for the heck of it.
They're not suit pants. I mean, they're corduroys. They're pants.
Yeah, I just thought, as long as you're taking them for a couple of days, just finish the job.
Yeah, so, they're kind of pleated all the way around.
Yeah, well, it is. They have the micro pleats, but they pressed them, so they had a line down, the front of the leg, and so, which didn't really go away. But I realized what happened was I had taken a couple times dress pants and suits there, and I don't know why they don't realize this, but for whatever reason, maybe it's because of my rock look.
Oh yeah, they
thought, oh, this guy doesn't want his pants pressed, so they would give me my dress pants and suit pants back with no crease.
Oh really? Wait, they do that, but then they crease the corduroy?
Well, because I was going to a wedding, and I had a suit dry clean. I put it on like 5 minutes before I'm going out the door, and there was no crease in the pants, so I had to run them around the corner in a panic, saying like, "Hey, I need a crease in these. I'm going to a wedding." So they pressed them for me, and then I think as a result of this, they thought, let's not have him ever freak out about So they pressed my corduroys.
And they maybe thought you had a full corduroy suit.
They may have thought that, yeah. I mean, this story is not... I'm not going to tell this story on the moth or anything. But,
there's a lot more to dig here, I think. No,
yeah. Well, someone, I think, there has to be a turn we don't see coming. I'll tell you, there was, actually. I wore the pants. I went to Canada last weekend, and I wore the pants. I thought it was a 2-day trip. I'm just going to wear these corduroys the whole time. Didn't even pack another. Do you pair, like, two-day trip, casual?
Okay.
Would you pack a second pair of pants? In case you shit your pants, is where this is leading.
Well, a second pair of pants, because I usually take a suit with me, so Yeah,
you wear suits a lot.
So I try to wear, I just did some gigs where I had to wear suits, so I just wore the suit on the plane, and I literally just wrinkled the suit very badly by stuffing it in my suitcase.
Yeah.
And then, but I tried to bring a second pair of pants. I try, but just 2 days, maybe not.
Yeah, if you if
it's just casual, is what you said.
Yeah,
I was
just going to be hanging out.
I can get by with one pair of pants. Yeah.
But then I was so frustrated by these corduroys. Plus, I realized they washed them, and normally... Now I'm going to really reveal my true insanity. When I wash stuff that I don't want to shrink, I'll just wash it at home and hang it in the shower to dry, which is what I would do with these pants.
Yeah.
In the past. But they dried them, and then they shrunk. And so they were what we in similar times we'd call floods. You know what I mean?
Floods? What?
Flood? When you were a kid, when I was a kid and someone wore pants that were too short?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
They were called floods. I grew up in the 40s.
No, these are too short for me. So I guess they're floods.
They're floods.
Yeah.
Well, now it's fashionable to have floods.
I think it is. I just hadn't heard that term.
That's what they were called in olden times. But so I was walking around these floods around Montreal, and I was getting so frustrated that finally I just walked into a store.
About different...
Yeah, well, I walked into one store on the first day, and I think they were close to closing, and I think the guy just had no tolerance for bullshit. So it was some brand of corduroys I looked. They were called Lois or something. I said, what's Lois? And he said, it's a brand. And I was like, I do not like your tone.
That is...
I will wear these pants that I don't like another day because of what you... I didn't say this to her. I just said, okay, thanks. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then the next day I threw down and bought some pants. And
different corduroys?
no, they were just a pair of Dickies, which I'm not a Dickies guy, but maybe I am now.
That's the brand that does the foul collar and all that, right?
They're like work
yeah.
clothes, I guess.
But that's a term for like if you just want to wear a sweater and have a fake collar coming up through it. I think those are Dickies. Those are what those are called.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they're the brand that did those.
Oh, okay. So when you put something on, it looks like you have a sweater,
yeah,
but you really don't.
Or it looks like you have a work shirt underneath.
Oh, okay.
But they do all the work clothing too.
Yeah. Lucy's my accidental co-host because she won't settle down.
She's a fun gal.
She's good times, but there's not. Oh,
I definitely have a little slobber on me. I think that's fun.
I just put my finger in her toy. I need to finish that sentence.
You just put your finger in her?
Shit, I just fingered my.
Well, you gotta keep her relaxed.
I'm back. Well, there's this toy filled with peanut butter, and I guess she can't get to it, but I stuck my finger in, and then there was peanut butter all the way at the end of it, which was upset. Speaking of gross things, there's been this dog at the dog run that licks her butthole.
Oh.
Like, just directly.
Like, uniquely? Like, don't they all do that?
Well, this one is, like, not
different
just
panache?
sniffing, just fully...
Getting in there? Like
we'll get there. And I know what that butthole's been up to. Like, and then we show up at the dog run. This dog's... Anyway.
No.
Enough about me. Enough about Lucy's butthole.
But there's a dog... Exceptional... It goes deep.
Literally, yeah.
No, that's not right. You gotta stop that dog. That dog needs a butt cone or something.
It's a weird. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I try to find the owner and give him a look like, hey.
It's just alone. The dog is sitting alone because it's at the dog park, right?
Yeah, scampering about.
Have you ever been to Dog Beach in Prospect Park?
No, that sounds delightful.
It is delightful. Dog Beach. They have a beach that's only for dogs. You go in, it's like a little rocky shelf. I used to go there and just have like a bag with like a Bud Light and drink it early in the morning and just check out all the dogs. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I thought it would be too cold. The dogs were there playing with balloons in the water. It was great.
That sounds excellent. What body of water is it on? Like in Prospect Park?
It's in Prospect Park, and it's just like a little pond that has. There's like a shelf, gravel, then there's like a shelf of rocks, and then the dogs can go into the beach part, and there's like a little fence rounded off in the water so they can't go too far. And then it's a pond, and then there's like a little tributary that leads off of it that goes to another little lake in there. But it's just right. It's called Dog Beach. It has a sign there proudly.
Oh, this sounds delightful.
It is the greatest.
Oh man, I gotta make a day of it. Road trip. Do you have a dog?
I don't. Making it all the better to go and watch them.
Oh yeah. So you get the enjoyment of the dog without.
I'm a dog person, so I like to watch. Know that tongue stuff though.
Yeah. Lucy's trying to knock the peanut butter out of it, but it's not. She doesn't get how peanut butter works.
Yeah,
doesn't work that way, Lou.
You need a butter knife.
Yeah. But enough about it. How are you doing? You have a new album coming out, of which I will have already mentioned 78 times before.
Oh, yeah.
You get in the preamble. But it's coming out it's very soon.
Yeah, it's coming out November 16th.
That's a Friday.
Yeah, Friday, November 16th. It'll be available everywhere. And it'll be available for pre-order on iTunes and something else I should mention.
Amazon probably.
Amazon probably. On November 9th. So, yeah, that'll be coming out. It's I'm excited about that. Probably going to have a release party at Cobra Club which is over in Bushwick off of the Jefferson stop.
That's kind of your home base, right?
Yeah. They're good to me. They're nice folk.
I like that place.
I love that.
It's a good spot.
It's a really great spot. It can be tricky to get. Everybody has fun there, but it's like it's a little bit of a jaunt for some people.
I think it's mostly a psychological distance because it's easy to get to.
Yeah, it's just off the L train. It goes so fast.
Yeah. And then, so your album's called Serious Goose.
Yeah, Serious Goose. Not a silly goose, just a very, very serious goose.
I like that.
Gotta keep it real.
Yeah. As well you should. And we've talked about this before on my radio show, but you've had a crazy last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a blast. No, there's
been good things and very bad things.
Yeah.
From where I'm standing.
Well, I guess to like list things in order as I open a Red Bull and think about it. Make a list. I had stage 4 cancer. I had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
That's negative.
Which that took about 7 months to prove that I had to because they I had doctors that were telling me that I just needed to meditate and I was being anxious. And then after about 6 months, they finally did it. Yeah, they said I was being anxious. Then after 6 months, they finally did a CAT scan, and they're like, "Holy crap, this guy is very, very sick." Then they did a biopsy, and then I was writing chemo. So,
oh my gosh! So they were like, "We still think you're anxious, but you also have."
Yeah, no, it's that
stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Because I was getting, I'm pretty skinny. One of the symptoms was that I was very sweaty and I was very nervous. And they, they said meditate, try breathing exercises. At one point they tried to have me eat more cheeseburgers because my iron was low.
That's fun, at least.
That is fun. It didn't help, but and then they also said, because I was sweaty and nervous, they asked me if I was just doing a lot of coke, and I wasn't. I don't know. My repeated point was, what kind of an asshole does cocaine and then goes straight to the doctor and is like, I don't know what all these coke symptoms are. Please help me.
How does a doctor ask if you're doing a lot of coke? Like, how do they phrase that?
They ask me if I am on any illegal substances, and then as the interaction goes on, they start listing which illegal, like methamphetamines, cocaine. In the end, the doctor I had, my general practitioner, I was diagnosed, went to chemo, and then I think about just a couple of weeks, another one of their patients was diagnosed with cancer, and they quit the practice of being a doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they had missed someone else's cancer as well?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a I would not feel good about that. But we've talked about this. This happened with my mom. She was really sick, and the doctors were like, "Well, we've ruled out cancer. We don't know what it is, but it's definitely not cancer, so stop worrying about that." And
how'd they rule it out?
I don't know. They just kept saying, "Nope, not cancer. We don't know what's going on with you, but get some rest." And my brother is a nurse practitioner, so he was really stayed on the doctors, which I think they found especially annoying.
That's a full-time job of calling them, and even just because they send you to specialist after specialist, and the specialists, it takes a lot of work to get them to communicate with each other, and a lot of them will only communicate through faxes, and you need to fill out all kinds of paperwork and get all kinds of checks and balances. And then a lot of the specialists don't necessarily end up with results. Like the cause of the illness isn't necessarily determined by urologist or something like that, but they still send you to all those. Did she go through a process of them trying to figure out what it was just by going to a lot of doctors?
Yeah. She was doing, kept going to, all the making the rounds in Cleveland, where she was living at the time, and they just they just ruled it out entirely. My brother was like, "It's cancer," and they're just like, "Shut up, nurse practitioner. What do you know? What do you know?"
What kind was it?
About it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay, so it was something where because with it's still lymph nodes, which I'm not exactly certain what they do still, other than they flush out your system a little bit.
Well, people only mention them when someone has cancer. They don't come up other times, really.
No, they are not popular organs spread out throughout your body, but they are
all
all over.
Pancreas, which we talk about every day.
Yeah, but my lymph nodes were swollen, but they were like underneath my clavicle and like deep in my organs and in my bone marrow, so they couldn't. It's not like they touched my neck and could feel a lump. Mm-hmm. So was it something like that for her? Like they couldn't find any lumps?
Yeah, they couldn't find anything, and so my brother kept ordering tests.
Did they scan her?
They must have. I don't know the specifics,
because I don't know what every type of lymphoma is like, but that's the only reason they found anything off with me.
Yeah, it was. My brother kept saying, "Do this, do that," and they were like, "Yeah, this guy's crazy." But they're like, "Well, you're paying for it, or whatever. Your insurance paid, whatever." And then I remember I was in Japan at the time. I was on tour over there, and so no one was telling. They didn't want to bother me because they didn't.
But you knew, or you didn't know?
I knew she had been sick.
Okay,
but when I left, they're like, "Oh, she just needs some bed rest. Everything's gonna be fine. It's not cancer." And then I was in Japan, and they found out, and they didn't tell me because they were like, "There's nothing that you could have added to this situation by coming back." So we knew if we told you, you would end the tour and come home.
How long were you gone then?
Not that long, couple weeks.
Okay.
But they didn't want to tell me because they didn't want me to cancel. They didn't want to let down
all Japan?
My Japanese fans.
With me, like, they didn't diagnose it because I was apparently, with the type of lymphoma I had, it only happens in little kids and old people. So I'm like in the middle, so they had trouble diagnosing it. But that was she sick for a long time before?
Yeah, she was just kind of like...
And sleepy? Or?
Yeah, just kind of like feeling like crap and just in bed, and then, knew it was up, and then they diagnosed cancer. They treated it with this thing, Rituxan, which is not chemo or radiation.
It's like a pill type thing, or what?
It was like an IV, very unpleasant IV, as I recall.
Okay.
And so they wiped it out, but then as a result, then it triggered all these strokes, and there you have it.
They, all that stuff can trigger all kinds of other organ failures or whatever.
Yeah. So, so that was that, but I shouldn't say that was that.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Let's talk about, so you got this diagnosis, and then what? You must have been freaking out.
Yeah, it was, well, I mean, I wasn't. I mean, it was, my first thought was, hooray, I'm not crazy.
Sure.
Because I actually was sick. And then I don't know. It was kind of a nice little vacation. Like, chemo sucked being like in the chair, but like it was absolutely horrible. I don't want to describe it as a vacation, but it was the first time I knew exactly what I was going to do for 6 months, which was just chemo and watch Netflix and eat whatever. Yeah.
I guess there is some comfort in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched a lot of TV. I don't want to make it sound great because like I survived it, so that's what I took away from it. Other than like a lot of Like, it really is. I mean, it wasn't my hair fell out, my toenails fell out. It was I had to quit drinking, so I had to be completely aware of that stuff too.
Yeah, you had no break.
They're poison. I mean, it's poison set up to kill the cancer slightly faster than it kills you.
Yeah.
And there was it's like a cocktail that I had that was like 4 different types of chemicals. Like, it's crazy. Like, one was derived from like a spider venom. One was from like a weird deep cave fungus. One was like literally from like an offshoot of like radioactive waste. Like, all kinds of like, they just test everything and see what happens. So yeah.
And so where were you? Were you able to? Were you in the hospital for a long stretch?
I went. I guess it was outpatient chemo care. So like every week, every 2 weeks for 12 sessions, I would just go into the hospital and sit in the chair, and then go home after that. So it was okay. I had to get driven there and back because I wasn't allowed to take the subway, and I was really out of it.
Yeah.
Just because the immune system goes down, you're not allowed to have like germs around you.
Yeah, you can't. I had a friend who he was very sick, and he had a liver transplant, and then he couldn't. There was a big benefit for him, and he couldn't come to the benefit.
Oh no!
It was just like,
he's too out of it.
Well, no, he couldn't. He's like, I'm not allowed to be in a room full of people for like some extended period.
Yeah, no, I completely. I was bedridden for almost all of it, but I still came out and did some shows, which I couldn't like shake people's hands. I had to have like antibiotic gel on Purell and stuff. What was that?
You were like Michael Jackson.
I was just like, I had a room full of mannequins and kids to keep me warm. I was just like him, except for I made it.
Yeah.
He's a fun dude.
That's yeah.
The Michael Jackson I was looking at you used to do those videos with mini Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm in one of those videos.
Are you? Wait, which one?
I'm in one where from 10 years back. I was looking at it because I remembered it. There's just one where it was before we knew each other, but I think you went through there. I was selling art in Union Square, and I just had a table there.
Oh, so you just happened to be in it?
Yeah. Like you stopped at the table. No, you stopped at the table. You asked at the time if you could use it. Just stop at the table, look at it, and then get distracted by something.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's excellent.
Yeah, no, that's nuts. I was looking at that today because something triggered that memory. Yeah.
Yeah, little Michael Jackson. Someone just emailed me about him. I think he's back in. For the listeners not sure what we're talking about, if you go on YouTube, Little Michael Jackson to Me is a series I made with Alex Sotomayor, who arguably the world's foremost.
He's very talented.
Little person Michael Jackson impersonator, and he moved back to Peru, where he's from.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Is he doing the same?
Well, he was on television there. He was like on, on The Simpsons when they have the like Telemundo, their fake like Telemundo show with like the bee and all this craziness.
But that stuff is kind of real if you watch like wait, yeah, there's Telemundo.
Yeah, he was on the Peruvian versions of shows like that where like there would be a guy doing the weather and then he would jump out of a box in a diaper and run and chase someone across the set,
That sounds great.
He did that, and then he moved here to America, and he was making his living in this dancing in the subway. And that's when I met him.
Yeah.
And then he's doing all sorts of other, he would like dance at parties. He was like, sometimes I talk to him and he'd be like, yeah, I'm in Texas doing like wrestling. He was a professional wrestler, and like, I mean, I don't think it was.
They just kind of throw him into everything.
Yeah, he was.
He's up for everything too. It sounds like it from
he was
being back home.
He was up for. I mean, I was very not sure what he would be up for, but as soon as I started working with him, he was like, wouldn't it be funny if you threw me in a dryer and you turned the dryer on? Stuff like that. He had a lot of gags, locked and loaded. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, but enough about this is, as you know already, I'm easily derailed. So
am I.
Talked about little Michael Jackson. Because you're also, in addition to being a comedian, you're also a cartoonist. You've done stuff for the New Yorker.
Yeah.
You have a book,
cartooning for the New Yorker. Grimmer Tales, which came out with Penguin Books, maybe about 8 years ago, and then I did my own album cover. I guess is the last thing I drew. Oh,
excellent! That's Serious Goose.
Yeah, Serious Goose.
November 16th.
November 16th, indeed. The most serious.
Pre-order November 9th. We're getting those plugs in.
Yeah. No, that's good. It'll be very fun. What was it? I used to the cartooning with the New Yorker. It's like just bringing a stack into there on Tuesdays. If I'm up for it, but you have to bring a stack of like 10 cartoons and show it to the cartoon editor, and sometimes they pick one and sometimes they don't, and there's a lot of old-timey guys, sadly they're dropping off occasionally, but when I started,
editors are dropping off.
The cartoonists too. When I started doing that 6-7 years ago, it was I was one of maybe the second youngest person there, and then a bunch of 80-year-old dudes, and then over time now I know there were some younger ladies there, but I never saw them in the office. They were cartoonists, but people that would come in, it would just be a bunch of 80-year-old dudes, and then me, and then one kid younger, and now it's kind of more evened out, a full spectrum of ages.
Yeah.
But you asked what has happened. I had cancer.
Oh yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah. No, I had cancer, and then I moved into a sublet on 3rd Avenue and 16th Street, which was fine. And then I met a lady that I started dating, and then somewhere in there over a year and a half, I found out she was a con artist, and then my sister died of an overdose in that time too. And actually, just not that within the last month, my sister passed away of. I don't. It's not fun stuff, but I thought she had died of a heroin overdose. I had just found out about a month ago that she. There was no heroin in her system. It was just pure elephant tranquilizers, and feds were going after a drug dealer about it.
Who was dealing elephant tranquilizers? And part of his defense was that it couldn't have possibly been him, because if he was the drug dealer, it would have been elephant tranquilizers mixed with heroin. Yeah.
So it's how'd she get the pure stuff? That's it's all nuts.
How do you? And so you have this.
And then I was dating this gal who I found out I was leading a weird.
She was cheating on you.
She was cheating on me, and then she left. She did all this weird. We were engaged after a year and a half, and then she asked me if I could water her plants while she was out of town. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go water your plants." And then she called. Then we texted, and I was like, "Hey," she was a pathological liar though too, because she would just lie constantly about things, and none of it. Things that didn't matter.
Things of no consequence. Yeah, what she had for lunch.
Exactly. And I just got kind of sick of it because things didn't add up. So I didn't text her for a whole day. Then I texted her, and she was like, I was like, you know why I'm being a little distant, right? And she's like, because you read my laptop, and I saw that she left her laptop out. And I was like, no, I don't know your password. And she was like, well, why didn't you read my laptop? She was pissed off about it, which was like real weird. And then I saw she left all these journals out too, and I flipped one open, and there was one entry that said his sister is dead and I'm sleeping around. Why is it so easy to be cruel?
Jesus.
And then there was poetry about me being her being like the spider and me being like the fly. There was stuff about what is it? There was stuff just about like taking notes on giving tips to her friends on how to get away with cheating and stuff like that. Poetry about how chemo made my eyes dark, so she said she loved me to my face, but it was just an echo of just weird stuff.
She sounds great.
She's the best. Oh, she really is.
Oh my God.
Just awful. And that, I don't know, she pulled me in. I was pretty close to her family too. Like, I thought everything was gonna work out. So all of that happened. Like, there are parts, and she would lie about dark stuff too. Like, really, like, there were a few times where I had to go, like, to the police office, like, with her, and she would tell them things differently than to me, and like nothing. It was just weird. And I guess her parents knew that she had a history of this and never told me either. So that was like.
So did you discuss it with them?
No, I just picked up on it because they started telling me about these things, but I didn't. It wasn't until I saw that she was like leading a double like sex cocaine life that it like all really came together. Like like the usual suspects. Like, oh dear God, I got to get out. 100% like leave.
Good Lord. So how do you, because anyone, like, if someone doesn't return my text message and I'm a wreck.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know,
I'm that way too.
But how do you just, you've had, those are, any one of those things would just shut a lot of people down.
Yeah.
If not kill them.
Well, I mean, there's that, and that happened at the same time that I found out, because I mentioned that I moved into that apartment. I found out it was rent stabilized, and they had been ripping me off each month. It was an illegal sublet of an illegal sublet. In the people who had the lease were in Florida. Well, actually, no, they have two places, Florida and Nashville. So, like, you have to live in the place if it's rent stabilized. So it was, and they were making a lot of, like, a couple of $1,000 off of the apartment. And they were already wealthy people. They found out that I was talking to a lawyer about it just to see what my options were. And all of a sudden, there was, like, a giant dude at my door, just banging at my door, telling me, he said a few things. I asked him if that was a threat, and he said I would find out, and that I had to leave immediately. And then I woke up a couple of days later with a fake landlord in my room, which it wasn't the dude, but it was this like Polish lady who was one of the ladies who because I was shown the place by a couple that I thought were going to be my roommates when I first moved in there, and then when I moved in there, all of a sudden they were in Europe. And I was sending my rent checks. I questioned a little bit, but I was sending my rent checks to Road Dog Touring, which was a...
what is that?
That is just a music touring company. Yeah. So it was odd.
That is odd.
It gets a little dicey because that is... It was like a music family that was running a scam. So like they're and they had been doing it for. They said it was. One of them said it was a mistake, but like if you go back in blogs, there's blogs from like 2004 talking about them running this scam on people. So
wow. And does this company still exist?
Oh yeah, they still exist. They.
I'll probably get a knock on my door after this.
No, I just. But I mean, that thing happened with the ex, so I just left the apartment and just went and slept with my. I mean, I could have. Yeah. I was still in the legal right, and I could have, I think, 3 years to resolve that if I want to. But I did fall apart and just left.
You wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with a crazy ex betraying me and not feeling safe in my home. Yeah, and all of that. So I just moved to my friend's couch about a year ago, and slowly met a different lady, and then we kind of started dating. And now it's been about a year that I've been with her, so we just moved in together, and that's going positively.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, well, there's been, I don't want to just harp on all this dark stuff, but sort of on the flip side of it.
Well, I mean,
there's some great things.
There are some great things, but like there are great things. I live with her. She's wonderful. I love her very much, but she's the one that is really. I do have to go into like some form of, it's not like fully diagnosed or whatever, but like some PTSD therapy just because of all the things that happened at once. Yeah. Just because I've been having like nightmares, and after all of that, I had to start taking antidepressants and anti-anxiety stuff. And I've always been kind of screwy, but like that was that was a bit much. And if anything else, like I feel like I had a little bit of steam leading up, or after cancer I had a little bit of steam. Like did the Comedy Central thing, that was awesome.
You did a Comedy Central's half hour.
Yeah, and that was awesome. But then like that girl, I started dating her, and it was just every day there was a crisis where I had to go rescue her from something.
So that happened while you you weren't out of the woods yet with
well, I was at
negative things. At the time of the Comedy Central half hour.
Right. So that was, but I mean, all of that has I guess all of the heat from that petered off, so it's slowly building back up.
And then you were also on Colbert, which is awesome.
That was fun. Yeah. They are very nice people over there. I love that stage. I've gotten more emails from that because I guess it's one of the normal channels.
People see it.
Yeah. They see it.
People see Comedy Central too, but Colbert's he's the top dog.
He is the top dog, and they bury the Comedy Central stuff kind of. Like Comedy Central doesn't bury it, but like for a half an hour, you really have to sign in to one of their apps or something like that to go like track it down or catch it on TV or something like that.
Yeah. And then now you have the album coming out, Serious Goose, on Comedy Records.
Yeah, Comedy Records. They're in Canada, Canada and New York. They're great. Nathan McIntosh has done a number of albums with them. I think Greg Stone just recorded his with them. So did
I haven't seen Greg.
Oh, he's great.
I haven't seen him in a while.
And then James Maddern, I think, just recorded one. I don't think he was by Mad Dog anymore, but James. And who else do they have? They have a lot of pretty cool people. They was a Barry at Comedy Records is the guy I've been working with and helped me cut everything together. And he's been a delight to work with. So.
And you talk about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
we just talked about on your album.
Yeah,
see how I bring it full circle.
But I tell a lot more jokes
professionalism.
About it. Pure professionalism.
Well, you don't want to go. You don't want to tell all the jokes here. You want people to get the album.
I don't want to make people depressed either. But yeah, that's. It was.
No, but I think it's good for people to as much as you might be tired of talking about all this stuff. I think it's it gives some nice perspective to others, and if they're going through horrible things, they feel less alone.
Yeah.
Or if they're like me and have mostly problems that aren't problems at all.
Oh, come on. Those corduroys.
Well,
those are dark days.
That would be, that's high up on my list. Of problems of my personal problems.
You're a Roy man. You gotta.
I get pants problems. but so anyway, so hopefully, I'm sure people, regardless of what's going on in their own life, I think it helps people to hear about the stuff you've been through and gotten through.
Yeah.
And done some awesome things, and will continue to do some awesome things.
Hope so.
Yeah. I'm confident.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. That's all we can do.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. You're not wearing a suit. I feel like you were wearing suits. I kept seeing you wear a suit. Now I've caught you in a casual.
Yeah,
day.
yeah. It's
I should just say you're wearing a suit now.
Oh, I'm wearing two suits.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a suit under this shirt, this T-shirt.
Well, that's the thing. That's the power.
To the brim.
I'm always, because whenever someone
radio.
wears suits, I'm always like, oh man, I should wear suits more often.
You have suits.
I do. I wear suits, but then sometimes, you're like, oh, gotta put pants on. Then I gotta put a shirt on, tie on.
It's a lot of work.
You don't wear the suit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes audiences, I feel like there's places where I'll do shows where the audience trust me less if I wear a suit.
Yeah, because they're like, who's the man? They think you're the man.
Yeah,
like the man with a capital M.
Yeah, they think I'm some
nefarious
Trump
force
supporter or something like that.
No, aren't Trump supporters? They're like bro. They have like
they are like
hats,
bros,
right?
but like any kind of dressing up, like is
they think you're.
I don't know.
The aristocracy or something.
I mean, what is it? If I comb my hair, if I slick my hair back, I've been called a Nazi, and it's like
really
doesn't make sense because
what, by friends or strangers?
By a stranger.
Oh, okay.
And it's like you look like a Nazi. It's like no, I mean it's like the same haircut my grandpa had while fighting Nazis.
Yeah,
and it's like that's just the style of hair they had, and it's like it's really just like combed back.
You're just
that's a classic men's style. Like right now, it's not like combed like that, but like at the time,
it looks great though. It looks
likewise.
It looks fancy, footloose, and fancy free.
We're both wearing suits. We're both well manicured.
We are
ready for the wedding. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. Now you're inspiring me though, because I have to leave the house later, reluctantly. But maybe I'll put a suit on.
You should. It's not too warm out.
Oh, no,
a gargoyle over there.
Saying. There's a broken gargoyle. Yeah, out on the deck. There's a broken gargoyle.
Comes to life, he'll die.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like in the cartoon.
I tried to get gargoyle glue.
Gargoyle
from the hardware
Is that something they make?
Not gargoyle specific, but
cement glue.
Cement. They sell it, but it doesn't. A hot tip for me: it doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Not in my case.
Oh, you tried it?
Oh, I tried it. Yeah, because I figured, well, maybe eventually I'll have a lot of gargoyles out on the deck.
You probably will.
And then that would be a cool thing.
They'll start flocking here.
Yeah.
I think that's just... I'm trying to think of how you repair that. I mean, wet cement wouldn't do it.
It would not do it? Or
I don't know.
I don't know.
You can't do it with a drill and a re-rod. Maybe. I don't know.
You sound like you know stuff.
I've taken 3D, I've taken sculpture classes and dealt with like cement stuff, but I don't know as much as other people. I've seen people repair concrete things, but nothing as tiny. Not gargoyles. I'm an expert in gargoyle repair. That's
you're a gargoylist.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Do you So you went to art school?
I went to the Minneapolis College of Art Design. I studied just illustration and cartooning, like a fool.
That's what I wanted to be, though. I feel like there's a thing with comedians.
As of liking cartoonists or liking...
that a lot of comedians can draw or have some...
Yeah.
Some either currently draw or have drawn.
Yeah, there are a lot of talented... comics. What is it? And actually, I'm usually pretty surprised because like sometimes there's comics that I have no idea it could draw that like actually can do it well. And it's cool. I don't know. Did you wanted to study cartooning in college?
I did. Well, no. Well, I'm more sad tales. I was an American Studies major. I wanted to go to art school, but I wasn't allowed. My parents are lovely, but I wasn't allowed to go to art school because they thought it was like not preparing me for the real world.
Oh, it doesn't.
Joke. Yeah, exactly. Well, joke was on them though, because I had no intention of being a part of the real world ever.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not.
American history. You said American history or American literature?
But essentially, well, both. American Studies is kind of, it's an interdisciplinary.
I mean, what would you become? A teacher?
Yeah, or a guy who abandons his degree altogether.
Okay,
the road I took.
That's nice.
But I wanted to be, and so when I got out of school, I started taking illustration and cartooning classes at like School of Visual Arts and Parsons. I sort of audit courses, and then rock and roll took over.
Oh, you gotta let rock and roll. Nothing beats rock and roll.
I just started rocking, but now, sort of in recent years, I've gotten back into drawing. And I've done I did one of my book covers. I've done a couple album covers, but I find it's a nice to have that when you're doing comedy and things like that, because then you can go home and draw, and you're just like having a nice time.
It is, yeah. There's something where like lets your brain do something else, and kind of it's like using a different part of your brain, but it's still communication.
Well, it's literally the opposite side of your brain.
Is it? Yeah.
Isn't Chris? Can we run a check on this? I think it's the right side of the brain is drawing, and then I may be getting this totally wrong. And someone can write in.
And then comedy is
the more verbal side, the left side.
Oh, I see.
I'm getting
visual
this right.
Versus. But which side? Now, does comedy on this? Which side is math on? Because there's a creative side, but then there's a math side, and I feel like comedy is a mixture of that.
Yeah, comedy's both. I think math,
or like logic, or like something like creative logic.
Yeah,
kind of. So but maybe it is a mixture.
But like I remember taking in one of my drawing classes, the instructor recommended listening to music to distract
from
the
drawing?
Left side. No, to distract to give your brain, your left side of your brain. You want to basically, here, go play with this. Listen to music. Listen to the words and the singing, while the right brain gets the drawing done.
Interesting.
Yeah, so because that way it occupies the left side of your brain, and which is only going to fuck up your drawing.
It's just going to distract you and
whisper
all of your weaknesses to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Get all self-conscious.
So you put it on, and then the right side of your brain is like, look, that's a dog. I just drew a dog. Or whatever.
If it's pure because observational drawing is tricky stuff, and like figuring out all the angles, or like any type of drawing. I have bad habits where, like, if I'm drawing nowadays, I just watch a lot of like I watched all of, I was doing my album cover, I think I watched all of the latest season of Daredevil, and then a season of the third season of the TV show Fargo.
Yeah.
Have you seen Fargo, the TV show? It's great.
I heard it's great. I need to get, this is what happens with me anytime someone tells me a show is great, I get scared. I'm like, whoa, I got to carve, I'm going to have to watch that over Christmas.
Yeah, goodbye to 36 hours of your life if you sign up.
Yeah, so I'm like, I better find like some downtime to watch something that's great.
Yeah, I've avoided...
I like a show that's just kind of good, and then I can watch it like once a week.
Yeah.
I don't want to say which shows I think were just kind of good.
Because then they might get...
I'll get hate letters.
Well...
No, but I do like a show that I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll check in on that show that's okay.
I like one show that I guess I won't feel bad saying this about is The Walking Dead, is that I can like drop in. I can skip a season or two and kind of get what's going on.
Yeah.
And if everything, it all kinds of it makes more sense. I mean, it's like, oh, now they're not just wandering; they're like more of a society. Okay, they're zombies. That's cool.
I get what happens since I last tuned in.
Then they talk about somebody dying who was a character before. He's not there anymore. That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
But so you draw while watching TV?
Yeah, I do that, and then sometimes I'll listen to things. But I find like I need. It does definitely help shut off part of my brain that's like constantly bothering me. But then with drawing, sometimes it distracts me too much because I have to look at it too. So
yeah.
But I mean, I've done that with like all of Mad Men, all of I guess The Walking Dead, all of Breaking Bad, all of Game of Thrones, like just huge arcs of things that I watched all in long chunks in projects, like given like 1 week to do things. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's what I gotta do.
It's kind of good. I mean, if it's better than just sitting and watching the thing while doing nothing else.
That's what I can't. Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I have to like go to a movie theater to like not start doing something else.
Yeah, and
they don't play TV shows in movie theaters.
They don't,
that I'm aware of.
There's you know what else is good is those was something Atkinson like Planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that, because then they're just jumping between animals and there's no thread line. Yeah, I gotta get that going. I want to. I want to get. I like shark videos.
Yeah, and I thought that would be nice for the house to just have sharks
just constantly playing.
And whales. I like whales.
Whales are cool.
I like sharks.
They're which I mean, like killer whales or like. They're all murderers.
They are.
They're all terrifying.
It can't be debated. I guess in that regard, I like whales better. I mean, I'm not like into carnage per se.
Yeah.
But when they have a video of like when they have the shark, and they've taken like I don't know what, a big shank of meat. Like a cow or something. I don't know what they use. And they kind of hang it over the water, and the shark jumps up, and you see the mechanics of its jaws.
The multiple rows of teeth and all that.
And you're like, well, that's wild. But I don't like watch them take out a seal or anything. That's sad. I understand it has to happen.
No, yeah, that's the circle of life. I like those... The sea life is definitely crazy. I think what I watched on there was it Planet Earth or Earth 2 or whatever it was, I was just surprised by how the number of birds on islands, there's just a lot of islands where like ladybirds just sit there and they judge like male bird like gigolos like that. Yeah. It's like just like, show us your shiny pebbles and then dance for us and we're gonna pick you. Like, there are whole there's a little bird that does pole dancing for ladybirds. I think it's in Madagascar. And then it like pole dances on a tree, so that it tries to get the ladybird to jump onto the tree. And then when it sees that the lady's right above it, it like flashes all of its bright green plumage at it, and that's when they really go at it. I mean, how do you not? How do you turn that down? That's the green light. Yum yum.
After all that's happened,
but there's a lot of dancing, a lot of showing off that you have. A lot of penguins that show off that they're good providers by having huge mountains of pebbles.
Oh, really? They just gather a bunch of pebbles?
They just gather a bunch of pebbles. Sometimes they steal from each other to have awesome pebbles. Like dude penguins just showing off their pebs.
Wow. I guess maybe we're not so different after all.
No, that's what I get thinking. Like, I mean... people just like shiny things. Like if you're a good
It's
provider,
true.
ladies like that. If you can dance, ladies like that.
Check.
Or if, like in a lot of these documentaries, if you're just like a dominant muscular creature, they stick around for that too.
Yeah.
But like species have different things that they like, and it seems like humans have all of those things, but we're not dumb.
Well,
We're pretty dumb.
pretty dumb. Not us.
No,
But, a lot of other people. We're super smart.
We're the best.
Anyone
We're the best smart.
We're the best guys. Chris, too. And Lucy over here.
Yeah, the best dude ever is that Lucy.
Well, thank you, Eric, for coming over
Thank
to
you.
my home and having some coffee and hanging out with me and Lucy and Chris, of course.
Thank you for having me. It's
And
been
everybody,
blessed.
depending on... Hopefully this will come out on November 16th.
That'd be awesome.
The release day. I feel like we have the power to make that happen. And so everyone, go get Erik Bergstrom's new album, Serious Goose,
Serious
out
Goose.
November 16th, which is probably today, depending on when you're listening.
It must be today.
It must be today. and with artwork, but also by you, and jokes by you.
I can send you the... You'll have the artwork.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll have the artwork, and thank you for powering through all the bullshit you've told us about.
Thank you for having me and listening.
And kicking it all in the taint and prevailing.
Right in that peanut butter taint.
Yes.
Got to show it what is peanut butter and what is not, and what is concrete. Things are right.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there you have it, my delightful conversation with Erik Bergstrom. Please get his brand new album, Serious Goose, out today. It's hilarious. The album cover is great, too. It's everything. The whole package. My heat is coming on in the background. I don't know if you hear it. And Lucy's sleeping over on the couch. I don't know if she was really upset when I started recording this podcast intro and outro, and especially when I broke out the guitar. She's not crazy about the guitar, which makes her a difficult roommate in some capacity. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another incredible episode. Please rate and review this podcast on iTunes, and please subscribe and tell everyone that this podcast is back with guns blazing. Tell everyone to tune in, listen, and hear how it evolves into God knows what. And we've also got some other exciting podcasts we're planning as part of this crazy thing. Blah, blah, blah. But more on that later. Also, I encourage/beg you to go to patreon.com and support this podcast and other podcast projects that we're cooking up. Search Dave Hill there, or just go to patreon.com/Dave Hill. Contribute what you can. Get your Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit gang name, get a t-shirt, get a patch, get a thank you, get an erotic short story, get me calling your house singing Billy Joel. It goes on and on. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks to Chris Gersbeck, of course, my partner in crime, for handling all the technical futuristic stuff that I can't even wrap my head around. And thank you for listening, and thank you, Lucy, over there on the couch. I don't know if she hears me. All right, bye-bye.